Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa, and today I have a fun project I believe you will love to make pockets out of simple 6x6 sheets of paper. Now I've got both single-sided and double-sided here, and I'm going to show you how I made it out of both. And here is the pocket. Doesn't look anything too spectacular, but I'll show you as I make it. It's a little bit different than I think you've probably used to. So this is not totally glued down, which gives it a little bit more room to stick stuff in. And I've attached it so there's a pocket back here, and there's a pocket back here. We can stick a little bit thicker stuff, and then there's a pocket in there. I'm gonna put those guys in there too. Triple pocket for that, and really truly easy to make. And like I said, lots of room in this one where you can just you can put some thicker stuff in there, and still very secure. So I love it, and it is super easy to do. So stay tuned, and I will show you how I made these. All right, before I forget, and it reminded me as I saw, I put this pocket, I put a little one of my chicken stamps. The mini stamps are in my Ko-fi account, and somebody asked a question, I guess I didn't clarify it completely. When you download the mini stamps, you get the mini stamps and then that bigger version of stamps that I have in there. Those two sizes are in one download. But anyway, I digress. So if you've seen recently, I'm doing the chicken journal. Old MacDonald had a farm, and I realized that's a turkey after I said a chicken, but there is chickens in here. Like the first page has a chicken, and this is one of the pages I'm going to put in there, so that's why I put a little chicken on there, and I thought the colors worked good with it. So again, digressing. This was a file that sheet that I created to make the little stamps. So there they are. I picked 4 of those chickens to create the little stamps for this, but obviously I had a whole bunch of different varieties to choose from, so I decided to download it as a freebie, which is in my Ko-fi account, which obviously I'm going to cut these out and fussy cut at some point to make some cards, tags, pockets, etc. for the chicken journal. And quite a few of you have commented that you've been thinking about doing a chicken journal, or you're working on a chicken journal, and I thought, well, here you go, a freebie sheet, one sheet, downloadable in Ko-fi, with some cute chickens. I'm guessing they're chickens. I'm not a farm girl. They got the little bottle on them. So are they roosters? I'm pretty sure they're chickens. I think roosters got taller necks. I could be completely wrong. Please let me know if I'm completely wrong. I've lived in the city my whole life. Okay, so freebie, Ko-fi account. Back to our regular schedule program. All right, 6x6 papers. I'm going to show the double-sided one first because that's how I made the first one. And we're going to do 2 simple things. First off, we're going to cut, and then we're going to score. All right, so we start with the 6x6. We're going to cut off a 1-inch strip. Now, the 1-inch strip is going to eventually get cut off and put across the bottom. So you want to make sure whichever you cut, it can be flipped. So this would be flipped great. So the rest of it is what's going to get folded upward. So you want to make sure the pictures are upward. So if I cut it this way, when I go to fold it up, these flowers would be sideways. So if you've got some sort of print, make sure that when you cut the 1-inch piece, it's off of the side so that your print is forward. So if I wanted to strictly do the letters, obviously I could cut either side, and then I've got the letters going up and down straight. Okay, so we're going to cut this side because I think that would be fun as a border, even though they're sort of a little sideways. All right, so we're going to cut a 1-inch strip off for that. Now you can vary this a little bit if you want to. This both looks like bigger than 1 inch. Did I just not cut off 1 inch? Oh, I did. I wonder if I cut off a bigger piece for that. Interesting. It's definitely 1. How big are you? You are about 1 1/4. I'm not mad about 1 1/4. Do what you want. Somewhere between 1 and 1 1/4. I think I'll do the next one 1 1/4. Okay, anyhow. I get so easily sidetracked. All right, so we're going to take this piece and we're going to flip it up so that it is, and we're going to go that way. The flowers will be hidden, but the leaves will be better. I think I'll do it that way. Okay, so we're going to figure out which side we want to have the pocket. And the pocket can be anywhere between 2 to 2.5 inches. But I think I'm going to do 2.5 inches. And it really just Nope, I'm gonna do two, only because that's smaller. It really is, again, how deep you want the pockets to be. There we go. Beautiful. All right, so one score, somewhere between 2 to 2.5 inches. This was 6 inches high to start. I didn't cut that down. So it is now 4-inch high. And if I would have cut it down to 2.5, it would be 3.5 inches tall. Okay, I'm gonna round the corners. Just because I like rounded corners. I think they look a little fancier. You could do square corners, whichever one you want to do. Oops, missed that one. And I'm not going to do this one because you'll see it is not going to be actually a corner. All right, so that is going to go here. Now we're going to take this and we're going to glue it down here, and we're going to leave wings off of each side. And if you wanted to do any inking, do that before you finish. And if you do the little bit thicker one, if you wanted to put a thumb hole in there, you can do that. These are different colors, so I don't think, when they're different colors, I don't think a thumb hole is necessary. It's when they're too similar. I like to put the thumb hole and then ink it so you can see it a little bit better. This, you definitely know there's something there. Okay, so we're going to glue it on the bottom. Probably easier to glue this bottom because I know how far it goes. And we're going to glue it in place. Again, leaving a bit of a wing out of each side. And try to get as even to the bottom as possible. Okay. Now, I find it easier to give it a little score along the edge so it folds straight, and pre-fold them before I glue them. So we're gonna fold it around and wrap it to the back. And that is what's gonna allow this pocket to be a little bit more free, but yet secure. And since this is a pocket glued down, no one sees your little wing attachments that are back here. All right. But there you go. That's the pocket. So again, we glue it onto something. Then we have this, which is, as you can see, I'm not going to try to pull too hard because it's still kind of wet. It's a little bit bigger because it is not glued down on the sides. You can see how much room is in there. And then we got the tiny little pocket there. And again, I'm not going to push too hard because it was just glued. To tuck some fun little ticket stubs in, etc. Again, bigger things, some coasters from where you went to, a little more booklets, things like that you want to stick in there. It's a little bit bigger. And then again, another pocket in the back, a couple of tickets, a couple flyers, and I'm thinking just traveling, things you want to stick in there, your daily life, whatever. But that is the pocket. Like, how cute and easy is that, right? Since you are using such decorative stuff, it doesn't really necessarily have to be decorated. I did, like on my first one, I just add a little bit of cluster to the front, just give it a little bit of personality. But that's it. Fun, right? All right, I'm gonna show you how to do the the single-sided ones. Okay, for the single-sided ones, and don't mind that, I'm sure I'm just stamping on something. For the single-sided ones, I found two that coordinate together. So depending on how you want it to look, that's how you're going to cut it. If you want the top and that bottom to be a certain color, then you pick that one, and then the other one is the filler that ends up being the center one. So to me, like, this would be good for the top and bottom because this would be easier to decorate because it's not as busy, and then this would be the filler. Okay, so we're going to cut it just like we did this one, where we're going to cut 1 inch off the side to put around that, and really there's no print or anyway, so we would cut it 1 inch. But again, I'm going to make this one a little bigger, and I'm going to do the 1 1/4 just to be a little different. Okay, so that is going to go around here. And we're going to do our same fold over where we score somewhere around 2, 2.5. And I'm going to do, since this is a little bigger, I'm going to do the 2.5. And oops, don't slide. Oh, I really need to find, I got to find my, I have a separate little ball score, which I've misplaced. And then I got my bone folder. I'll fold it this way because that's the way it needs to fold. I've got my bone folder. That I can't find. So I think I need to sort my room out. Okay, so this is going to go here and wrap around. But as you see, that is not so pretty. So you could do lots of things for it. You could ink it, you could stamp it, you could stencil it, whichever way you want. But I'm going to add some paper to it. So what you're going to do, you're going to measure how much you scored. And again, it could depend if you want to do 2, 2.5, but we have 2.5. So I am going to cut a 2.5-inch piece, and I want the stripes to go up and down. So I'm going to make sure that it is cut that way. And two and a half. Okay. Now I do need to cut it down to this length, which is because I don't have to wrap this one around. This was 5. Oh, not quite 5. 4 3/4, because I did cut that a little bit off. So 4 3/4, and that should beautiful. Oh no, I'm creating scraps. What am I going to do? All right, so we're just simple. We're going to glue to it. Just going to glue it. And that's why I said don't worry about the inking on it, because it was going to be hidden. All right, we do our best to make sure it is even with the edges, or a little bit of white showing, which is easily fixed with a little bit of inking. And we'll do the bottom. Okay, again, we'll round because I like to round, and I hopefully, as I was saying that, I'm like, hopefully it's not too wet still, but of course it was, because I'm always doing it too quickly. Beautiful. Okay, and I'm just going to ink the top of this. All right, again, we are going to wrap it around. So I'm going to put the glue on this part. Whoops, got a little bubble. Make sure there's not really an up or down, which there really is not. We'll go that way. And try to center it so I got wings on both sides, and do even with the bottom. All right, and just put a little score mark in there. Just kind of loosens the paper so that it can wrap around well. The first one I did, I just put the glue on it and tried to wrap it, and it ended up being crooked on the edge. So luckily I saw it and I could pull it off and fix it, but I found that if I take that extra step to score and fold before you glue, you're going to get a better end look. Almost like a professional. Okay. And I didn't round the top of that one, but that is easily remedied. Again, rounding not necessary. Fancy stamps could be used, or fancy punches could be used. A fancy punch going across the top for that as a pocket. I think I might do that, or even that one. You both. But there we go. So single-sided paper. Not worried about how it looks. And again, you got a piece of paper, a item, and we'll stick her in there. And again, we got a place to put something in the back. And again, just tons of room. I love these. I think these are great. Now, I know that there are similar folded pockets out there. I made it before with 6x6 where you score them at 1 and 5 and I think 2 and 4 and you make 4 pockets. I'm sure there's a 3-pocket one out there, but I can't say that I've seen it where it's wrapped around. But I've seen wrapped around things to make library cards or coin envelopes. So not totally new in any respect, but maybe putting all those together is kind of a new idea, which I'm hoping it is. If it's completely copied from somebody else, I am unaware, and I don't believe I've seen anything like it for it. But yeah, so you can see just a little difference in height, but both of them are great. Cutting a 1-inch strip to getting it down to 5, or cutting a 1 1/4 inch to getting it down to a little bit less. So cute. All right, let's see if we can use a fancy cutter for the edge of that and make it. This is one I picked for a double sided. We'll put that to the side for now. But let's see if we can make a fancy edge one. Okay, I only have a couple fancy edge ones. I have this Martha Stewart, kind of looks like a picket fence, and I think I'm going to try that one. So we're going to do our same thing. We are going to, I think we're going to end up, this is getting folded up, so I do need to cut the side, but I mean, the words are so scribbled. I think I'll be okay either way. All right, let's make the pocket a little bigger. So we're going to do the 4 3/4 and go from there. Okay, so if we want to get the top of it, I'm going to round it first. And we're going to center it as best we can. And did I get to the end? I did get to the end. This is one that does not have a catcher, so we always have kind of a bit of a mess. Yeah, I don't mind the words going sideways. Like I said, I can always throw something on there. Oh, but now they're upside down. I guess I gotta go that way. Yep, okay. And scoreboard. All right, I think I'm gonna do this one at 2. No, 2.5, because I'm gonna be cutting a little bit off to do the fancy edge. So we're gonna do 2.5. Again, options. I love having options and not being like, this is exactly how you have to do it. Can't vary from it. Be creative. Have a little fun, right? Okay. And we're gonna go with down the center. And that way. And that way. Okay. Cute. All right. Once again, we're going to do this. Oh, I miscut there a little bit. That's a shame. That's a shame. That came out good. But okay. It is what it is. I am going to throw a little ink on this, though. All right, so we're going to put some glue on the bottom of this. And now, I mean, as I was looking to see if the other side would work for a fold around, if it was like had a little bit of a print, might be able to do it where it stood out a little bit more. Now, I could have always found something completely different, like maybe, you know, cut off an inch off of this and use that so that I knew it was different instead of having the word sideways, or, you know, just picked a totally different print. Mix and match two 6x6s together and go like that. Again, options. Okay, so we are going to score and score and fold and press. All right, let's add some glue, and we're going to call this one done. I like how simple they are. They truly are. Probably the hardest part will be figuring out which pieces of 6x6 to use. Now, the full disclosure, this one, this one and this one both came from Tim Holtz backdrops that are 10x6. So I had these 6 already, so I just cut off a piece of both of these 4 inches, which would make journal cards actually, to even probably put in here as a, yeah, they would actually make good journal cards to go with that. So the backdrops that are 10x6, you can cut one down to 6x6 and have a journal card to go with it. So coordinating, very fun for that. This one that was part of my chicken journal was cut from a 12x6 sheet of paper that was cut from a 12x12. This is a Tim Holtz 12x12, and I cut them down to 6x6s. So you can start out with bigger pieces and cut them down to 6x6, or actually these were, again, these were 12x12 cut down by 6x6. These are some that I have from my eBay store where I'm selling the 6x6 papers for that. So you can do that, or of course, you know, you have a ton of 6x6 paper pads all over the place. These are just happen to be the ones that I grabbed, which happen to have started out as bigger than 6x6. So again, options. Okay, so we're back to this one. And lots of fun stuff for that one. And as I'm looking at this could also easily be put sideways, depending on how the look is. You can put it sideways, have a tuck and a tuck, and it won't fall out because the bottom tuck, the one that's wrapped around, is stuck on the wraparound. So even though it's up and down, it's a little loose on the side, but it won't completely fall out because there is a bit of a bottom lip to it. But you could definitely do them as sideways pokey things, or up and down. So keep that in mind if you are like this one. It's still readable, but if you want the letters to go up and down, and that top one's covered anyway, now you can see that's the one that you see. You glue it in the book this way, and you've got a side tuck there, and you've got a final one there. I think that's a great option for things that go one direction. Again, options. I love it. I love these. I think they are awesome. And so how quick they were to make, right? So much fun. Okay, well, I think that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you like this video and are going to make some of your own. Please let me know. And don't forget to check out my Ko-fi account if you want some chickens. Or roosters. Again, not sure. Okay, well, that is going to be it for today's video. As usual, I appreciate each and every one of you that has stopped by. And I hope you all have a wonderful and creative day. Bye for now.